does the Georgia delegation belong?
Oh, they go down over there near the Carolinas.
It's after 10. I was told the Congress convenes at 10.
Oh, this people wandering in any time now. Little raping guts eating the back.
Oh, who?
Back there! Raping guts. Back there! Fetch me a mug of rum. Mr. Hopkins, would you please to meet Dr. Lyman Hall? I don't need a doctor, damn it. New congressional delegate from Georgia. Oh, why didn't you say so? Dr. McNair, I'm Stephen Hopkins, delegate from Rhode Island. How you doing today? Great. McNair, get us 2 mugs of rum.
Here's a little early today for me.
Oh, nonsense. Everybody knows it's a medicinal fact that rum gets a man's heart started in the morning. I'm surprised you didn't. And speaking as the oldest man in Congress, Ben Franklin is older by more than McNair, rum! Now that we're not going to be bothered by McNair, Dr. Hall, I would like to ask you a question. Where, sir, does Georgia stand on the question of independence?
With South Carolina, of course.
Well, good morning, Nettie. How are you today? Nettie, I'd like you to shake the hand of Dr. Lyman Hall. This is our new delegate from the colony of Georgia. Dr. Hall, this here is Edward Rutledge from whatever Carolina he says he's from. God knows, I can't keep him straight.
Dr. Hall, where does Georgia stand on this question of independence at the present time?
Well, I'm here without instruction, able to vote my own personal conviction.
And they are?
Personal.
Dr. Hall, we in the Deep South have always voted with one voice. Not only is it traditional, even more so, it is historical. And to the Delaware delegation, to your Jukta y Uno.
Speak plain, Rutledge. You know I cannot follow none of your damn French.
It is Latin, Colonel McKeon, a tribute, an eternal tribute to the peace and harmony of the Delaware delegation.
What are you saying, man? You know neither Rodney nor I can stand this little war.
Gentlemen, this is Dr. Lyman Hall from the great colony of Georgia. Caesar Rodney, George Reed, and Colonel Thomas McKeon.
Dr. Hall, where do you stand on independence?
With South Carolina, it seems.
Dr. Hall, I leave you in excellent company. I thank you, gentlemen.
Dr. Hall, are you a doctor of medicine or theology yourself?
Why, both, Mr. Rodney. Which one could be of service?
Well, the medicine first, and we'll see about the other later.
I'll call at your convenience, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I trust Caesar, once you're through converting the poor fellow, you'll give the opposition a fair crack at it.
You're too late, John. Once I get him, I got him. Well, this is Dr. Lyman Hall of Georgia, Mr. John Dickerson of Pennsylvania.
An honor, sir.
Your service, sir.
Oh, excuse me, Judge Wilson. But when you insist on standing in Mr. Dickerson's shadow, it's easy to overlook you. John Wilson, Pennsylvania also.
An honor, sir.
Good morning, all. Good morning. And good Lord, would you have the honor and the opportunity to be Dr. Brighton?
I have that honor and that opportunity. Unfortunately, the gout accompanies that honor.
Been living too high again, eh, Pappy?
Oh, Stephen, I only wish that King George felt like my big toe all over.
McNair, fetch the Phillips and 2 more mugs of rum. Franklin, where is that unique lead? Has he returned?
Softly,
I don't see him.
Softly, John, your voice is hurting my foot.
One more day, Franklin. That's how long I'll remain silent, not a minute longer. That strutting popinjay was so damn sure of himself. Why, he's had time to bring back a dozen proposals by now.
Tell me, James, what do you attribute to these
strange monumental quietude that Congress has enjoyed these past 30 days? Has the ill wind of independence finally blown itself out? For myself, I must admit that a month free from New England noise is more therapeutic than a month in the countryside. Wouldn't you agree, James? Yes. Pray look for your voice, Mr. Adams. It cannot be far. And God knows we need the entertainment in this Congress.
God, you just made your greatest contribution to independence. Kept your flap shut.
One more day.
Gentlemen, the usual morning festivities concluded, I will now call the Congress to order. Mr. Thompson.
The Second Continental Congress, meeting of the City of Philadelphia, was now in session 7 June 1776, the 380th.
Sweet Jesus.
The Honorable John Hancock, President of Massachusetts Bay, President.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Mr. McNair, the stores of rum and other drinking spirits are hereby closed to the colony of Rhode Island for a period of 3 days.
Yes, sir. Johnny, you can't do that.
Sit down, Mr. Hopkins. You abuse the privilege. The chair takes this opportunity to welcome Dr. Lyman Hall of Georgia. In hopes that he will make the best of it. My God, it's tough. The secretary will read the roll.
All members are present with the following exceptions, Mr. President. Mr. Charles Carroll of Maryland, Mr. Samuel Adams of Massachusetts, Mr. Button Gwinnett of Georgia, Mr. George White, and Mr. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, and the entire delegation of New Jersey.
I'm concerned over this continued absence of 1/13 of this Congress. Where is New Jersey?
Somewhere between New York and Pennsylvania.
Thank you very much. Dr. Franklin, have you heard anything? Your son resides there.
Son, sir, what son?
The Royal Governor of New Jersey, sir.
Well, as the title might suggest, we are not in touch at the present time.
Yes, very well. The weather. Mr. Jefferson of Virginia. Mr. Jefferson!
Present, sir.
May we hear about the weather, as if it were speaking for itself.
87 degrees of temperature, 30.6 inches of mercury, winds from the southwest for the rest of the day, and tonight? Well, tonight I'm leaving for home.
On business?
Family business.
You're forgetting for me, young fella.
From the Commander, Army of the United Colonies in New York, dispatch number 1137.
Sweet Jesus.
To the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President. Dear Sir, it is with grave apprehension that I have learned this day of the sailing from Halifax, Nova Scotia, a considerable force of British troops in the company of foreign mercenaries under the command of General Sir William Howe. There can be no doubt that their destination is New York, to take and to hold this city with the Hudson Valley, beyond would serve and separate New England from other colonies, permitting both sections in turn to be crushed. Sadly, I see no way of stopping them at this present time, as my army is absolutely falling apart, my military chest is completely exhausted, my commissary general has strained his credit to the extreme last. My quartermaster, he has no food, no arms, no ammunition. The troops are in a state of fear and mutiny. I pray God some relief arrives before the Armada does, but I fear it will not. Your obedient, G. Washington.
Mr. President.
Chairman McKee.
Surely we have managed to promote the gloomiest man on the entire continent to the head of our troops. These dispatches are the most depressing accumulation of doom, disaster, and despair in all the annals of military history. And furthermore,
Please, Colonel McKee.
what?
It's too hot.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
General Washington will continue wording his dispatches as he sees fit, and I'm sure we all pray that he finds happier thoughts to convey in the near future. Mr. Thompson, are there any resolutions?
Dr. Josiah Bartlett from New Hampshire, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Resolved that for the duration of the present hostilities, the Congress discourage every type of extravagance and dissipation, elaborate funerals, and other expensive diversions, especially all horse racing.
Tell me, is it done?
First things first, Tom. Where's Tom? Your little bride, she wants to know. What? When's he coming home?
What? Never mind that. Is it done?
Done? Why, certainly. Mr. President, I am back from Virginia with the following resolution. Resolved that these United Colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved.
President, I second the proposal. The resolution has been proposed and seconded. The chair will now entertain debate.
Mr. President, Pennsylvania moves, as always, that the question of independence be postponed indefinitely.
I second conditions of all our sister colonies to effect this separation, we will not stand in the way. But for the time being, South Carolina will wait and watch. The vote nay.
South Carolina says nay.
North Carolina says nay.
Yes, Mr. Hicks, I know. Georgia. Georgia?
Mr. Secretary, Georgia seems split right down the middle on this issue. The people are against it, and I'm for it. I'm afraid I'm not yet certain whether representing the people means relying on their judgment or on my own. So until I can maybe figure this thing out, I guess I'd better lean a little toward their side. Georgia says nay.
Georgia says nay.
Rhode Island back there.
Where is Rhode Island? Second call, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island! I'm coming! I'm coming! Hold your horses, damn it!
We are waiting on you, Mr. Hopkins.
It won't kill you. Now, you think Congress would have its own damn business? All right, where does she stand?
5 days, 3 abstentions, 1 absence.
So it's up to me, is it? Well, I tell you, in all my years, I've never seen, heard, nor smelled an issue that was too dangerous to talk about. Hell yes, I'm for debating anything. Rhode Island says, yeah!
Give me in! Mr. Hopkins are wrong!
But you said,
Have the whole damn barrel that you want. The chair now declares this Congress a committee of the whole for the purpose of debating Virginia's resolution on independence. Mr. Dickinson.
Well now, you've got your way at last. The matter may now be discussed. Well, I must confess I'm fairly relieved. There's a question I've been fairly itching to ask you. Why?
On what, Mr. Dickinson?
Why independence?
The obvious reason that our continued association with Great Britain has become intolerable.
To whom, sir? To you? Well, then I suggest you sever your ties immediately. But please be kind enough to leave the rest of us where we are. For myself, I have no objection at all to being part of the greatest empire on the face of this planet, to enjoying its protection and sharing its benefits.
Benefits? What benefits? Crippling taxes, cruel repressions, abolished rights.
Is that all England means to you, sir? Is that all the pride and affection you can muster for the nation that bore you? For the noblest, most civilized nation on the face of this earth? What would you have us forsake? Hastings and Magna Carta, Strongbow and Lionheart, Drake and Marlborough, Stuarts, Tudors, and Plantagenets. For what, sir? Well, tell me, for what? For you. Some men are patriots, like General Washington. Some are even anarchists, like Mr. Paine. Some are even internationalists, like Dr. Franklin. But you, sir, you are merely an agitator, disturbing the peace, creating disorder, endangering the public welfare. And for what? Your personal little petty complaint. Your taxes are too high. Well, sir, so are mine. If you have grievances, Mr. Adams, and I am sure that you have, our present system must provide a gentler means of addressing them, short of revolution. Yes, that's what he wants. Nothing less will satisfy him. Violence, rebellion,
Dickinson. How's a man to sleep?
And must you start speaking, how's a man to stay awake? We'll promise to be quiet. I'm sure that everyone prefers that you remain asleep.
Not to hear myself called an Englishman. I assure you, I prefer I remain asleep.
Oh, now, what's so terrible about being called an Englishman?
Well,
the English don't seem to mind.
nor would I were I given the full rights of an Englishman. To call me one without those rights is like calling an ox a bull. He's thankful for the honor, but he'd much rather have restored what's rightfully his.
And when did you first notice they were missing? As I've said, Dr. Franklin, the people of these colonies maintain a higher regard for their mother country.
Higher certainly than it pertains to them. Never has such a valuable possession been so stupidly and recklessly managed as this entire continent by the British Crown. Our industries discouraged, our resources pillaged, and worst of all, our very character stifled. We're a small and new race here. Rougher, simpler, more violent, more enterprising, less refined. We're a new nationality, Mr. Dickinson. We require a new nation.
Yes, well, that may be your opinion, but as I said, the people...
Now, what do you know about the people, Dickinson? You don't speak for the people. You represent only yourself. And this precious status quo that you keep imploring the people to want and to preserve for their own good is nothing more than the eternal preservation of your own property.
Mr. Adams, you have an annoying talent for making such delightful terms as property sound quite distasteful. In heaven's name, what's wrong with property? Don't forget, sir, that many of us first came to these shores in order to secure rights of property. And we hold those rights no less dear than the rights you speak of.
So safe, so fat, so comfortable in Pennsylvania.
And what is this independence of yours except the private grievance of Massachusetts? Why is it always Boston that breaks the king's peace? My dear Congress, you must not adopt this evil measure. It is the work of the devil. Leave it where it belongs, in New England.
Brother Dickinson, we've been fighting the devil in New England for more than 100 years.
And as of now, Brother Sherman, the devil has been winning, hands down. Why, look at him. He's sitting right here in this very Congress. Oh, don't let him deceive you. This proposal was entirely his doing. Oh, it may bear Virginia's name, but it reeks of Adams, and more Adams. Why, look at him. He's sitting right here, ready to lead this continent down the firing path of total destruction.
Oh, good God! Why can't you acknowledge what already exists? It's been more than a year since Concord and Lexington. Damn it, man, we're at war right now.
You may be at war. You, Boston and John Adams, but you will never speak for Pennsylvania.
Oh, Delaware.
Mr. Reed, you only speak for 1/3 of Delaware.
The sensible third, Mr. Rodney. Sit down, Roach, or I'll knock it down. Sit down, all three of you. McNair, do something about these damn flies.
That can't affect me, rum.
Get the flies first. I only had 2 hands. Roses!
Do go on, gentlemen. You're making the only breeze in Philadelphia.
Mr. Adams, perhaps you could clear something up for me. When this independence is achieved, who do you propose to govern South Carolina?
By the people, of course.
Which people, sir? The people of South Carolina or the people of Massachusetts?
Oh, Daddy, why don't you admit it? You never were for independence and you never will be.
Gentlemen, you refuse to understand us. We desire independence for South Carolina. That is our country. We don't wish it to belong to anyone, not to England and not to you.
We intend to be one nation, Rutledge.
A nation of sovereign states, Mr. Adams, united for our mutual protection, yet separate for our individual pursuits. Now that is what we understand it to be, and that's what we will support as long as everyone supports it.
There you are, Mr. Adams. You must see, we need time to make certain who we are and where we stand in regards to one another. For if we do not understand the nature of the beast before we set it free, in the end it will consume us all.
For once in your life, Wilson, take a chance. I tell you the time is now. It may never come again.
Your clock is fast, Mr. Adams. I don't believe we're yet right for the finish.
Not right? Hell, we're riding for the wine fountain.
Gentlemen, please. What in God's name is the infernal hurry? Why must this question be settled now?
Mr. Chase, what's wrong with now?
General Washington is in the field. If he's defeated, as it does now appear, we'll be inviting the hangman. But if, by some miracle, he should actually win, then we can declare anything we're down well pleased.
The sentiments of North Carolina precisely.
Has it occurred to either of you that an army must have something to fight for in order to win? A cause, a purpose, a flag of its own?
How can a nation of only 2 million souls stand up to an empire of 10 million? Think of it, 10 million. How do we compensate for that shortage?
That's simple, Mr. Chase. Increase and multiply.
And how's that?
We compensate with spirit. I tell you, there is a spirit out there with the people that is sadly lacking in this Congress.
Now in spirit. Well, why didn't I think of that? No army, no navy, no arms, no ammunition, no treasury, no friends. But bless our soul, spirit. Mr. Lee, Mr. Hopkins, Mr. Rodney, Colonel McGinn, Dr. Franklin, why have you joined this incendiary little man, this Boston radical, this agitator, this demigod, this madman?
Are you calling me a madman, you brittle? Easy, John. You and your Pennsylvania proprietors, you cool, considerate men. You stand at the rear of every issue so that if we go under, you remain afloat.
Are you calling me a coward?
Yes, coward,
Madman!
landlord,
Stop it, I say. Stop it. This is a Congress. The enemy is out there.
No, Mr. Rodney, the enemy is right here.
No, the enemy is out there. It's England. England. They're cutting off our colonies. They're taking our rights. They're cutting off our very air.
Caesar, Dr. Hall.
Colquitt,
Aye, it's the cancer.
you should go home.
Oh, I suppose that you die. I bet. John,
I'm here, Caesar.
John, I leave you a divided Delaware. Forgive me.
Come on, Caesar. I'll take you home. John, I'll be back within the week.
Mr. President, South Carolina calls for the question.
What's that, Mr. Rutledge?
I said South Carolina desires to end this debate and calls for the question on independence.
The question has been called and seconded, Mr. Secretary. You bring forward the vote.
Do something. Think. I'm thinking. Nothing's coming.
All those in favor?
Mr. Secretary, would you read the proclamation again? The resolution. I forgot.
Oh, come now.
Resolved that these colonies
eager to vote for independence. Constitution is now ready for the vote on independence. And reminds the chair of his privilege to break any vote that is deadlocked.
I won't forget, Mr. Adams. The chair would like to welcome the Reverend Witherspoon and appoint him congressional chaplain if he will accept the vote. Very well. Mr. Thompson, you may now proceed with the vote.
All those in favor of resolution on independence is proposed by the wonderful colony of Virginia.
Mr. President, Pennsylvania moves that any vote in favor of independence must be unanimous.
What?
Second the motion.
George will Tell our seconds. No vote has ever been unanimous, damn it. You know that.
But this one must be.
On what ground?
That no colony be torn from her mother country without her own consent.
Will never be unanimous, damn it.
If you say so.
It has been moved and seconded that the vote upon independence must be unanimous in order to carry it. All those in favor signify by saying yea.
Yay.
Yea.
6 colonies say yea. All those opposed signify by saying nay.
Nay.
Yea.